Hello, this is Audrey again from the Indiana Daily Student, and here's my new recipe for the week. I'm going to show you guys how to make crepe cake, but first off, let's take 2 eggs and some melted butter and mix them with a whisk until they create a homogeneous mixture. First off, I'll say that this is not my original recipe in terms of the base crepe. I give credit to Alton Brown for this, however I did alter his method of creating it to simplify it. He recommended using a blender, but I thought that it'd be easier just to use a whisk or even some forks. But mix until it's smooth and gradually add in your flour. What you're going to do here is create this thick paste that we will then liquefy with some milk and water. And what this does is it allows you to kind of weaken that paste into this soft liquid smoothly without having lumps, because if you just dumped all the milk in one go, it would be a real struggle to kind of get it to break down evenly. So just gradually add your milk and continue stirring. And eventually you'll see the moment where it loosens up and you can just dump the rest of your milk in and just keep stirring until it kind of creates a smooth mix. You don't want any lumps at all, because since it's so thin, if it hits the pan with a lump, you won't be able to save it. So just keep whisking until it's done, and then add in your water, and that will finalize the paste for this. Now when you're done, set this batter aside and get your pan heated on high to let your butter melt, and then once it's melted, reduce it to medium and put in about 1/4 of a cup of the batter into the pan. And as soon as it hits, make sure you're tilting it so that it doesn't set too quickly, and just keep rotating until the batter really doesn't run anymore. And then just let it sit, and eventually the batter will kind of solidify and it'll steam away all the liquid. And just jiggle it a bit when it looks like this with your pan to loosen it. Let it cook a bit more, and then you're ready to flip. So you can repeat as many times as you need. The first one might mess up a bit. It did for me, but just keep going. Eventually you'll continue making smooth flips, and you'll collect about 20 crepes. As for the filling, let those crepes set aside. But returning to the filling, I've got heavy whipping cream, and I've spiked it with a bit of Bailey's and sugar. Now I've taken an electric mixer for this just because it's easier, but you can also use a whisk and just use some arm strength, or you can even put it into a jar and just shake it. However, the mix won't be as solid as it is here, but just give it a whip and then you're ready to stack. So take your first crepe, I would go with the ugliest, and put a very thin layer of the whipped cream mix on that. You don't want to be heavy-handed with this, because this whipped cream really is acting as a glue. You could even use Nutella or chocolate instead if you didn't want to use whipped cream, however that's the route I wanted to go with. But before you can add any fruit, you have to create a solid base. So maybe stack 3 or 4 crepes together with the whipped cream. That's why I fast forwarded until you can reach the point where you can add the strawberry layer. So I've sliced mine really thin. You could do any berry you want, or any fruit really. However, it has to be sliced really thin so it doesn't mess with your layer. So just layer it out. I didn't have enough to make a full ring all the way to the middle. However, if you do, you can go with that route. However, I'm just making a nice ring around, and then I'll fill the gap with more whipped cream. But there you go. Finish that out, give that dollop, and then cover the layer up with another crepe. Like you see me doing now. And you're just going to repeat. This recipe is a very repetitive recipe. It's not hard, and you get a very intricate looking final result, but the steps are kind of monotonous. So that's just a bit of a warning, but just keep working as it until it looks like this. That's the very final top layer. Now as for the garnish, I just put a dollop of whipped cream in the middle, cut the stems off some whole strawberries, and just stacked them in one by one. So just stack them in. You can use any berry you want, any fruit you want. However, strawberries are what I had on hand. So just stack them in. The thicker your whipped cream, the less soft it'll be, and it won't sink as mine are. But just do that, and then for my topping, I've got chocolate sauce and cookie crumbles. The chocolate sauce is made with a simple mix between heated cream and chocolate chips. Stir until it's smooth, and then you can just drizzle it straight on. But drizzle until you think it looks good. I like my chocolate, so I was heavy-handed. And then when you're done, give it a quick sprinkle of crushed cookies. You can do Oreos, but I happen to have chocolate-covered graham crackers. Enjoy!